In this video, I want to show you how to set up and sell on TikTok Shop from outside the USA. TikTok Shop is currently only available in a handful of countries, with the US being the biggest market. But this is actually one of the best opportunities we've seen since Amazon FBA. So I'm gonna show you exactly how to set up TikTok Shop from literally anywhere in the world, whether you're in Europe, Africa, or anywhere else. So I will show you how to sell on TikTok Shop from any country as a non-US resident, and I will talk you through every step, so don't skip anything. I'll first start with telling some misconceptions about TikTok Shop for foreigners. Many people say just use a free VPN and create your account. This won't get you anywhere and will still get this message that the product isn't available in your region. On the other side of the spectrum, there are also people that say this doesn't work, that you absolutely need to live physically in the US. This is also wrong, luckily, and there is a way to do this. What I'm going to show you today is a completely legitimate method that doesn't break any of the rules. We're not doing anything sketchy, we're setting up a proper US business entity and following all the requirements to create our TikTok Shop account. Alright, so here's what we're going to need to make this work on the business side of things. First, we need a US LLC. This is your business entity that will be registered with TikTok Shop. I'll show you how to set this up correctly as well, so don't worry about this. Next, you'll need a US business address to be registered agent. This is going to be your official business address of your company. We also need an EIN number for our LLC. This is your employer identification number from the IRS, which is necessary for TikTok Shop as well as tax purposes. Then we need a US representative in the States, and this person needs to be a US citizen with a social security number, a US residential address, and a valid ID. Now, this representative will be listed as an authorized person on your TikTok Shop account. And obviously the easiest way to do this is if you have a friend or family to partner up in the US that you trust. But honestly, it's also possible to find a partner online if this is not an option for you. There are communities on Discord, there are groups online, people who are willing to help each other out from both sides, living in the US and people looking for a partner. Even down here in the comments below of this video, you can probably find other people to talk to and partner up with. Now, your US rep acts as a legal point located in the United States, and they will use their personal information for your business account with TikTok Shop. And unlike Amazon or Shopify, a US rep is required. Now, please note that you cannot change a US representative after the TikTok Shop approval, and if they want to quit, your account gets permanently closed. So choose someone who wants to commit long term. Next, we also need a US bank account for our LLC. This will be a business bank account. I'll show you how to set it up as well. Then we also need a US VPN with a dedicated IP address to make our TikTok seller account on, and also to make our actual TikTok account to promote our products with. You also need a US phone number for verifications and US configurations. This needs to be a real US number that can receive SMS and calls. And then finally, we also need a US verified TikTok account that's already set up and verified with US credentials. We link that to our TikTok Shop account, and I'll show you step by step as well in the next chapter how to do this after the business setup, as we really need a US based TikTok account. As we all know, TikTok content gets pushed locally. So if you're based in Germany, your account is German, and you have this setup, then your viewers will be from Germany, so this won't apply. This won't be relevant for us. We have to target US audience. So you cannot use this method on your own phone, and we need a complete US configuration for this, with a separate phone, a US SIM card, US VPN, US configurations, all of that. But again, I'll show you exactly how to do that in a following chapter in this video. Now, I know this might seem like a lot of moving parts, but each element is crucial for getting approved. So now let's move over to forming your LLC correctly. Alright, so let's start with the business entity, and TikTok Shop requires you to have a US business entity. And for this, we need a partnership LLC, which essentially means your company has more than one member, so at least 2 members. Single member LLCs don't work, and they would require an SSN number for the account creation and tax forms, but with a partnership, this can be done through your EIN number. Now, luckily, setting up an LLC is super easy. Anyone can do it, even as a foreigner, as we simply need a registered agent in the States to open a company for us. And personally, I recommend to use Northwest Registered Agent, so let me walk you through the process of setting one up there. Now, if you want to follow along, I'll leave a link down below in the description, and that is going to bring you to this page from where we can select what we want, and we want to click on Start a Business right here. Then we want to click Start Your Business. And now the first thing we need to do is select what type of business we would like to start, which is going to be an LLC right here. It's going to be multi-member. I'll show you how to do that. And then we need to choose where we would like to form our business, in which state. And we basically have two options right here, Wyoming and Delaware. Now Wyoming is generally a bit cheaper. It has good privacy protection and is very easy to set up for foreigners. I have this personally as well, so we simply select Wyoming right here, and there we go. Then we click continue, and then we want to make a name for our business. Now this needs to be unique. I will type in something like VectorTube LLC. Then we select no right here, and we can select use generic business purpose. And for the physical address, we simply use their registered agent address of Northwest, and as well as the mailing address. Then we click continue. And then this is where it gets important for the management. We want to make sure it's member managed, and you want to add yourself as a member. So add your own first name and last name, and then make sure it's set to our registered agent address of Northwest. But then in order to make this multi-member and a partnership, click add member. And this is where we want to add a second person. And this second person can be your US representative in the United States. So you can add his name, first and last name, and then select also our registered agent address or their own address. That doesn't really matter, but this doesn't need to be that person. It can also be a third person. It can be someone from your own country. It can be basically anyone else as long as it has two members, right? Then we go to the next step, simply fill in your contact information as well as your account creation right here. And for the business identity, you can simply untick this box. It's not really necessary, as well as the optional items. Nothing here is really necessary. Then we click continue. You want to go to payment and make the payment, and they will form this multi-member LLC for you. Okay, once your LLC is then formed, the next step is getting our EIN number. Now this stands for Employer Identification Number from the IRS, and Northwest can help you with this process as well, or you can apply directly with the IRS website itself, and the EIN is for your business entity. Now again, you can do this yourself on IRS, but it's quite a lot of trouble. You need to contact them, and it's usually really slow, about 4 to 8 weeks. And Northwest can do this for you as well. It's gonna cost a little money, but it's definitely worth it. I did the same thing, and I received my EIN number in just 5 days. Once you then have your EIN number as well, we can move over to setting up a US business bank account. And many people think you still need to physically travel to the US to open a bank account, but luckily that's not true anymore. There are several fintech banks that allow you to open US business accounts remotely as a foreign LLC owner. And the two best options I find are Mercury and Relay, which I personally have as well. Now to open your own account, they require your LLC formation documents you got from Northwest, your EIN confirmation letter, your personal identification documents like your local ID, your local address, and then the business name and address, which you got through the business setup as well. Now I personally have Mercury as well, so let me show you how to create your account. You can simply go to mercury.com, or I'll leave a link down in the description once again, and you can click open account. Then you simply want to fill in your first and last name. Then you simply give the name of your LLC right here, which for me was VectorTube LLC. And we click next. Then here you want to fill in all the details. So the phone number, the EIN number right here, the company details of your business. And then here the company address, and this can be the address of the registered agent, which will be the Wyoming address of Northwest. Then you also need to do your personal verification. And here you want to upload the formation documents of your LLC as well as the EIN document. And honestly, that's pretty much it. Then within 24 hours, your account will be approved and ready to do business. Okay, now we have all our LLC documents like the EIN number and everything, our US bank account and our US representative ready. And this partnership LLC foundation is crucial for TikTok Shop approval, so take time to get each component right before moving to the account creation process, which I'll show you right now. Okay, to create a seller account, we simply want to go to seller.tiktok.com, and it will bring us to this page right here. And what is important before we continue is that we enable our VPN to the US. So I have NordVPN installed right here, and I'll leave a link down below. As you can see, I'm connected to the United States, and it's important to use a proper VPN and not a free or a sketchy one, as it might get you in trouble. Now we need NordVPN anyway for our TikTok account setup later on in this video, so I would highly recommend it. I'll leave a link down below. And from here we want to select our region, Americas, and then select United States seller and click enter. And then on this page at the bottom we can click sign up now for a new account. We want to fill in our email address. Okay, and here we have the first question in setting up our account. Which option describes your business the best? Now for me that's seller. For most of you that will be seller as well and has the highest approval rate. Then we click next. And now we need to select what type of business do you operate. And what is important right here is that we select partnership, since that is the only setup that works as a foreign owner. And as we can see, this is the information, the business information, the business representatives information, and the UBO information, the ultimate beneficial owner, which will be you. Then we click on next. And here we fill in our legal business name, so the LLC name and the address of a registered agent. Then once we fill it in, we click verify business details. And as you can see now, it's gonna verify. There we go. And then right here, we select which option applies to the address you entered. This is a business only address. And now we want to fill in our EIN number right here. And then do you have a parent company? Now for 99% of us, it's going to be no, unless you do have a parent company and this is an LLC in a holding structure. Then we can click next. And now we want to use the representative that you have in the US and let them fill in their details. So the last numbers of their SSN, the legal name, date of birth, their residential address, and then right here is the person mentioned above an ultimate beneficial owner. You want to select no, and then does your business have any other ultimate beneficial owners? You select yes, and then this is where you want to fill in your own information. So you fill in your own name, then your own country and your own residential address, and then click next. Then you want to fill in the name of your shop. This can simply be the name of your LLC or whatever name you have, and add your logo. And then all the way at the bottom, we need to verify our phone number, and this has to be with US number. Now, if you don't have a US number, don't worry. There is a good service that I always use for everything. I'll leave a link down below as well. Once you click that link, it's going to bring you right here called Receive SMS, where you can rent your own US phone number. So you can simply go to numbers, create your account, and right here, rent a phone number for a monthly fee. It's by far the best service I've used for these kinds of verifications and works for everything. So I'm simply going to copy this number right here and go back to TikTok Shop, paste it in here, and then I'll click send code. And then back at the receiver, as we can see, we instantly receive it. So now I can simply type in the code right here, 2712, and then I can click next. Now what's going to happen, TikTok is going to review your information, and usually within 12 to 24 hours, if everything is filled in correctly, your account will be approved and you'll receive an email confirmation once you have been approved, and you can check the account status in your seller dashboard. Okay, then the tax information setup, and this is pretty straightforward as well. You just got to know the basics of what you need to fill in. And basically in your seller account, you want to go to taxes, and then what is important is for the tax residency address, you want to fill in the address of your registered agent in Wyoming, and you want to fill in the W-9 form for the business classification partnership. You want to fill in your EIN number, and what's important here is that the business address needs to match the address of the EIN exactly. This will be the case if you've set up your EIN for the specific business. And then you want to sign all of this in the form as yourself, as the ultimate business owner. You don't need to do this with your representative in the US. And what is important is that a W-9 form officially is only available for US citizens, US entities, and this is not possible with a disregarded entity or a single member LLC with a foreign owner. In that case, you would need an SSN number, which we don't have, and with a partnership, an EIN is complete. And this is also one of the reasons why we set up a partnership. Okay, then your business representative, you're made in the US, needs a US driver's license or passport and a personal utility bill to complete this. And then for you, as the ultimate business owner, you need your foreign passport and a proof of address documentation as well for the verification. Then the next step is simply linking your bank account. Now, if you've done this with Mercury, like I showed you, this is going to be super easy. It's pretty much going to be the same for anyone. Go to your bank account settings. You will simply want to click link your account, and right here you want to fill in your routing number. Basically everything gonna be super easy, so I'm not gonna dive more into that. So this is pretty much that. Then once this is done, we can move over to the shipping address setup. And here TikTok basically wants to know where you are shipping from and where returns should go from customers. And there are quite some people that say, especially in the beginning stages of the setup, simply use the address of your registered agent. But I advise against this because with the address of the registered agent, you cannot actually fulfill orders there. And if customers try to return products, they get rejected and the registered agent will not accept them. What I recommend is using a warehouse address. For example, if you already sell on Amazon, you could use the same one of your Amazon store. By using 3PL's warehouse addresses, for example, ShipUp or ShipStations. And many of these companies also offer TikTok Shop fulfillment as well, which is great. And they can actually receive your inventory, they can handle returns, they can ship orders to customers, and this will be based in the US as a US address, which is what TikTok prefers. So you can actually set this up in a proper way that works long term. Next up then, we want to add our products. And this is going to be the last step in our business setup. And basically what you can do, you can add your listings and add your products manually, just like if you would have a Shopify store or an Amazon store. But I wouldn't recommend this, and it's much easier to do this with an automatic fulfillment software. If you already sell on Amazon, you probably already have this. The one that I found is the easiest and quite reliable as well is AutoDS. They import products from your supplier directly into your TikTok shop, sync stock prices automatically so your listing stays updated, automates orders by purchasing from the supplier when someone buys on TikTok Shop, so it also works with dropshipping, and it handles tracking updates so shipping info gets pushed to TikTok Shop. Overall, a really good and reliable fulfillment center that you can use for TikTok Shop as well, and what I would recommend. For AutoDS, I will also leave a link down in the description. Okay, now this is basically the business side of the tutorial complete. And in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you how to configure a US TikTok account that you need to link to your seller account so you can actually push your content to a US audience. So we need to create a US TikTok account, as it is required to connect a TikTok account to the TikTok Shop account in order to make videos, promote your products, and actually make sales. For this, we need a US-based account and verified with a US ID. And for this, the easiest way to do that is simply let your US rep do this. Your friend, your mate, your partner that you have in the US, it's the easiest. They can verify up to 5 accounts per ID, so that is absolutely what I would recommend. And then in order to configure this account to the US, just using a basic VPN will not get around this. If you want to use this yourself, you cannot use this on your own phone, as TikTok is gonna push your content locally. For me, that will be in the Netherlands. So what we need to do is configure our phone and TikTok to US settings. So let me show you exactly how to do that. Now I'll take you through all the steps in this whiteboard on how to make a US account from any country, right? So let's start with the beginning. And step 1 is configuring your phone to the United States. And it's important because TikTok recently made it even harder to do all of this. So please do not skip any of the steps in this process. The requirements are first, either a new or an older spare phone that you don't use, a US dedicated IP VPN service, a US SIM card, and preferably a new TikTok account. Although older accounts could work as well, I'll get to that later in the video. I will take you through every single step, but don't skip anything. Now I'll quickly also debunk some of the methods that simply don't work anymore, that other people tell you that still work. First of all, free VPNs, they don't work, they get you shadow banned. Also using TikTok on your PC or browser, that's really not recommended. Always use a mobile device and not using a US SIM card. This all literally doesn't work and gets you shadow banned instantly like this. So let's go to the first actionable step, and that is getting a spare iPhone. Again, this can be an older or used one. As you can see, this phone that I have is pretty beaten up with the screen not even working. That doesn't matter, and you want to factory reset this. And we are going to turn this phone into a US configured phone. So to do that on your iPhone, we first want to go to settings right here. And then from settings, we want to find general, and then scroll all the way down and click transfer or reset phone. And you want to click on erase all content and settings to factory reset your phone. Once you've done that, you should see this screen with hello, from where we can set up our phone from scratch. Step 2 is then to order a US SIM card, and this is required. What I recommend is just getting a SIM card on Amazon. I will leave a link down below. That would look something like this, where you can buy a travel SIM card for the US right here. As you can see, there are many options between usually $5 and $20. This is the specific one that I got, Leica Mobile, which I put in my phone. Now this SIM card can be deactivated and doesn't need to work, and you don't want to use this number for anything, especially not for creating your TikTok account. Simply what you want to do, you want to put it into your phone, and then your phone and TikTok will detect this SIM card and see it is a +1 number, which is American, and they will use that for determining where you're from. And it's a really important step. Then we go over to the next step, and that is going through the phone setup part, setting up your phone from scratch and selecting USA. So you want to put in your US SIM card in the phone and then go through the process. So you want to select English, United States, then you can connect to your Wi-Fi here. And for transfer apps and data, don't transfer anything. And this is where it gets really important. With your Apple ID, don't log in with your own Apple ID and don't create an account right here. Don't make this yet. Simply click don't have an account yet. For the Apple account, click setup later in settings. We'll do that later. Same for the location settings, setup later. Don't enable this. And we really want to make this look like a complete fresh US phone number that hasn't been used before. Now step 4 is creating an Apple ID, and what we want to do, we want to create that on our laptop and PC. For this, we want to use a fake name and a US address. Then we want to add your email and create a password you remember, and then log into your phone. So I'll show you how to do that. You simply want to go to iCloud.com, and then you want to click on Create Apple Account. And here we want to set up our Apple account, and I would recommend to just use some dummy information. So I will fill this in right here. So here, just fill in your information with an email address you have, and then make sure the country is selected the US. But now we have the phone number set up. And for this, you do not want to use the number of your specific SIM card you put in your phone. And that is because it will be disabled usually in 7 to 28 days. So what I actually use is a virtual US number SMS receiver that we can fill in here, and it's called Receive SMS Online. Again, I will leave a link down in the description for you to create your account from where you can rent your own phone number. So I have that right here. As you can see, this is the phone number I am renting. It's a US number, so I simply copy that. I go to iCloud and paste it in right here, and then it will send the code, and I can fill in the code from here. Then here we want to fill in the human verification and click continue. Now they send an email to my email address. Let's just fill in the code. And now they're gonna send a message to this phone number. So let's see if we receive it. And we do, there we go. So we copy this code and then paste it in here on Apple and click continue. And there we go, now our Apple ID has been created. Now with the account we just made, you want to go to that newly set iPhone and log in with that Apple account right here. Then there's just one thing left, and that is setting up the address inside the United States. For that, I'll open my iPhone. So this is my specific iPhone that I set up with this method. That's why the name is different. But basically what you want to do, you want to go to your Apple ID account, and then go to payments and shipping. And then right here, as you can see, for the billing address, I just set up a random address in the United States in Michigan. You can find any address online on websites and then just use that, and then it will be configured to the United States. Okay, then let's move over to step number 5, which is configuring your phone correctly even more. So you want to go back to the settings on your phone again and first type in Find My right here, and then it's going to show Share My Location. You want to make sure this is turned off. Also make sure that Bluetooth is turned off, and also cellular data. As you can see for me right here at the top, it's both turned off. Now all of these things might seem like small details, but TikTok checks all of this information. Every single detail needs to match what a typical US phone would show. Then let's move over to step 6, and this is very important, using a static US IP, and this is honestly where most people go wrong, as you need one static US IP address, and this one will only be used by you and will always be the same IP address. Because the number one reason why TikTok accounts get banned is because of normal VPN use, or not using a VPN at all if you're not in the US. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but free VPNs will not work. And this is usually what goes wrong. The problem with normal and free VPNs is, on day one you connect to an IP from LA, then later to an IP from Washington, then New York, then Texas. It's all over the place. TikTok detects this, sees unusual activity, and can shadow ban or even restrict your account. This is what we're actually after. We need one static US IP address that you use all the time. So this is one US IP address only used by you. So TikTok basically thinks it's your house with a US configured phone. They would have no reason to flag you. So then that bears the question how to set up a static US IP address. And the easiest to do that is by using a service with a dedicated IP setup. Personally use NordVPN without any issues. Complicated proxy setups with like local installs and so on work well, but it's a very complex setup. For me and most people, an easy tool like Nord is the best. This is then how it would look like inside your Nord account once you got it. I'll leave a link down below, I'll show you how to get it. You want to make sure the dedicated IP is selected under services. Then from here we want to connect to a location and choose it. So there are a couple of them in the US, we also have some in Germany, Canada. Obviously don't choose those. It doesn't really matter, you can go with LA, Miami. I personally went with New York. Then once you select that, you're gonna get this, your own IP address that no one else uses, your location, for me New York, and your server code, which for me was United States #10197. And you want to remember this service number because we need it in the next step. To get this dedicated IP, you want to go to the link in the description, which will bring you to this page from where you can click Get NordVPN. Then you can simply choose any package that you want, and what is important now is right here that you want to add the dedicated IP right here. It's gonna cost a little more, but it's absolutely worth it and necessary. Now let's actually get NordVPN installed on our phone. So for that, on your phone, you want to go to the App Store, obviously, and then here search for NordVPN, and you want to make sure to install this. As you can see, I already installed it, so I'm gonna open it. And now we want to find our dedicated IP. So at the top, it's gonna say search connection, and you want to search for the specific server code that you had. As you can see, for me, it was #10197. So you search for that, and then it's gonna appear as the dedicated IP in the US. It's this one right here for me in New York, but for you it's gonna show yours. Now when we then take a look, we should be connected right here to that IP address, and we have our dedicated IP turned on. Now this connection should stay on all the time, never disconnect from this VPN while using TikTok. Then the next step is also crucial and often very underlooked as well, and that is matching the time zone with your US dedicated IP location. So if you choose a Miami IP, you want to change to Miami time zone, with New York to a New York time zone. So as you can see, for me it's New York. We simply want to go to settings, and then we want to type in date and time at the top. And then here, as you can see, I manually set it to New York. As you can see, in New York it's now 5 a.m. Where I live it's 11 a.m. because I live in Europe. But this is simply where you can type that in. So let's say you want to change to Miami, just connect it right there. So your US IP address matches with the time zone. Now, 2 important rules. Make sure your static IP, again, is always turned on, really important, and never remove this SIM card. And that is also why I recommend to do this on a second or spare phone, as doing this on your main phone can really be a pain in the ass. Then we download TikTok, the time is there, and if it says +1 on the account creation, it works. As you can see, this is what we're looking for. So let's open TikTok and see if it worked. So from TikTok right here, you want to click on sign up and then click use phone or email. And now I'm gonna select the date of birth, just like that, click continue. And as you can see, it says US +1, which means that this setup has been done correctly. Now preferably create a new account, that will be much better. You can also use an older account if you want to, but it can take about 7 days to maybe 3 weeks, usually around that range, to transition to a US audience and US settings, so that can take some time. Also, when you create a new account, warm it up, don't post in the first 72 hours, build it up slowly so TikTok doesn't flag it. Now to create the account, don't use the phone number of your US travel SIM card. This is so important because again, that SIM card will not be active. What I will use is the website again, the Receive SMS website right here. I will fill this in to create my account right here, as that is perfect, and also what I would recommend for you to do. So just like that, I'll click on continue, then the code has been sent. So yes, instantly, so I fill in the code right here, 5476, then I'll create a password, and then click on continue, then I'll create a nickname and click continue once again. And now let's check our For You page. So all of this seems quite US based. Now we can also see the comments, they should be all English, yes. Now if this is in your native language, so if it would be Dutch for me, that means that something went wrong, but it seems that it all went correctly, which is a really good sign. Now let's check the monetization options as if they're US based. So let's go to profile, and right here I will go to TikTok Studio, and then it should show the Creator Rewards Program under monetization right here. And yes, it does. It shows Creator Rewards Program right here. Now, as you can see, I still don't have the threshold, but it's now available, and this wouldn't be available in my own country. Same with TikTok Shop. I can now open a TikTok Shop here as well. So really good. We did it all correctly. So this was pretty much the entire setup. We covered how to get the correct business documents and legal setup, then creating the actual TikTok Shop account, and then showing how to configure your own US TikTok account on a separate phone. I know this is a lot, and this video took quite a long time to make, so if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to ask your questions down in the comments below. With all of that being said, have an amazing rest of your day.